Hello everyone, it's Richard Wade. I just want to do a very brief live stream. There's a couple of things going on as we kickstart 2025. First of all, I'd like to wish you all a very happy new year. I hope you have a successful business year and also a successful personal life as well. So here we go for a brand new start to 2025. And over the Christmas period, we've been working on various things to do with training. You'll be aware that I'm heavily involved in rural crime prevention and farm health and safety training. And there's been some developments over the Christmas time that I'd like to very briefly mention to you now. So I'm going to bring up some information to do with rural crime initially. You can see at the top of your screen, ruralcrimes.com. And what we've done is we've managed to work really hard, and we produced a course initially, and we then had that course peer reviewed by some esteemed people in rural crime and criminology. We had rural crime security experts and rural criminologists, researchers and lecturers from various universities around the globe who actually gave up their time. I'm extremely grateful to those people, gave up their time to review the course and give us their constructive feedback. I then took all of that feedback and rejigged the course. We made some significant changes and have republished the 2025 version of the Rural Crime Prevention course, which I'm going to talk to you very briefly about right now. One of the key things to mention was that we had it accredited. So I had to go and do a fair bit of work to actually get this accreditation. And I'm really proud of the fact that, to my knowledge, there is no other course like ours out there. And certainly, and I'm talking on a global scale, there's certainly none that I'm aware of relating to rural crime that's actually been accredited. So we approached CPD Global, CPD services on a global scale. And thank you so much to Martin Brown, who guided me through the process. I had to redo some policies and make various changes, but we did those, and it culminated in the course being internationally accredited. And anyone who goes through the course can claim up to 5 CPD points, having completed all of the modules on the course. So it's, I think, a really good course. It's unique and very useful. And the aim was to complement what goes on regarding rural crime prevention around the globe anyway. So let's hone in on the United Kingdom, where we've got various stakeholders with a vested interest in rural crime prevention, ranging from insurance brokers, both nationally and on a smaller business scale, but say some big players and smaller players, all providing insurance broking services to the rural community in one way or another. So they have a vested interest in rural crime reduction and prevention. Then we've got the police forces and the rural crime units around the UK and Scotland and Ireland, and doing a brilliant job and doing everything that they can to prevent and reduce rural crime. And then you've got the various security stakeholders, private security companies, who I know some personally, who are providing fantastic services. But what was this doing for the end user? Those things are fantastic. But what I did before putting the final version of this course together, I did some extensive research and I looked at all of the facts and figures available to me. I went back to about 2014 and I compared year on year across that 10-year period of what was happening then compared to what's happening now. And I wasn't actually that shocked to find there wasn't that much difference. The methodology of crime committing is the same. They've got better. The criminals now are pretty advanced with all technological stuff available to them. They're using drones and counter surveillance techniques and measures, because these aren't your amateur criminals. These are highly organized criminal gangs. It's organized crime. So those statistics told me, despite all of the activity, all of the investment and all of that work that's been going on from these various agencies, the end user is still getting victimized. The farmer, the rural business owner, the landed estate owner, those people living and working out in the rural communities, they are still being victimized and suffering the adverse effects of rural criminal activity. So I thought that's where we need to focus. So all of the other stuff is fantastic. That needs to continue and indeed grow. However, what about the end user? What about the farmer, the landowner, the business owner? Let's focus on those individuals. They're the ones who get all their kit nicked. They're the ones who have their properties broken into. They're the ones who have their businesses disrupted and often ended. Some businesses can't continue once they've had all of their vital supplies or equipment stolen. And so our course, the Rural Crime Prevention course, internationally accredited, is aimed at that end user. And it's a very simple process. People log on through the website and they pay their money, very, very cost effective at $49.99 per delegate. And they work their way through various chapters. It's a short course. If you did it in one sitting, it'd probably take you a maximum of 2 hours or thereabouts, depending on how quick you work through things. And it takes people through the rural crime process. So who's out there doing it and what's the scale of the problem? And it talks about their methodologies, the modus operandi of the rural criminal. What do they do and how do they get in and get your stuff and get away undetected? So we take people through that. And then the most important chapter is about rural crime prevention. So what can the potential victims do to prevent themselves becoming that victim in the first place? Some very simple strategies based on practical experience, based upon facts and figures and research that we've looked into extensively. And then at the very end of the course, and this is the most important bit, where we're looking to safeguard that rural business, that rural community, there's a checklist. And we invite people to freely download the checklist. There's lots of other downloads inside the course as well, by the way, but you download the checklist and it takes you through a step-by-step process of looking around your own premises, business, estate, farm, whatever it is, out in the rural community, and work your way through the key points. And it says, for example, is your external lighting working? And the answer is either yes or no, or we haven't got any. And it might be that it's broken. And so we'll produce an action plan and get someone to fix it. And what it does, it hones the attention, it focuses people's attention. Everyone's too busy being busy. Rural crime tends not to be an issue to people until they've been a victim, until it's too late. They wake up and the quad bite's gone, or they wake up and loads of their animals are missing, or their fencing supplies, or their fertilizer, whatever it might be. That's normally when it's detected. And of course, it's too late then. Your kit's gone. It literally might be on the other side of the world by the time you get to notice that it's missing. So people work their way through our checklist, identify their own vulnerabilities. Much better for me and you to identify our weaknesses and do something about it before those criminals come and knock in. So that's what it's all about. And then you can go along, fill in the gaps, implement the action, and naturally you become a safer commodity. You're a safer farm, business, or estate. And the message is action. It's time to take action now before the criminals come knocking. And it's not rocket science, because the data tells us what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, even when they're going to do it. We know what time they're going to attack the vulnerable outlying communities. So we know what's around the corner, but we got to do something to prevent it. And often that's just stopping, standing back, taking a good deep dive into our own vulnerabilities and then doing something about it. And the aim is to develop a security culture within our business. So that's what this rural crime is all about. It ain't rocket science, as I said. It's pretty straightforward, but it does require action. So that's rural crime. Ruralcrimes.com, you can see that at the top. It's a very straightforward website. You can log on there. There's a few bits of information about rural crime and links directing you to the landing page of the course, where you can click, pay, and do the course. And of course, if you have any problems as you progress, give us a shout and we'll guide you and assist as required. One of the other things I'd like to very briefly mention here is the other side of our rural business, if you like, is actual farm health and safety. That's the bread and butter of our organization, farm and rural health and safety. Let me make that a bit bigger. What you're looking at there is a very straightforward website where you can log on. It's farmsafetytraining.co.uk. It does exactly what it says on the tin. And if you go to that website, what you can find, and you can see it there, look, you can see at the top, farm worker training. That will take you down to the farm worker health and safety training. If you click that and pay your money, you can do an online course. I'll mention the course in a moment. And equally, as well as the farm workers, we've got the farm managers course, and that's at $49.99. What I'd like to do, let me just quickly close that, because I do want to mention these courses to you, give you a bit more information. These again are unique in the way it's presented. Often these online courses, there's some really good ones out there, but often it requires the student, the delegate, just to sit and read stuff and maybe watch a couple of videos. But what we've done with ours is made it quite unique insofar as I personally talk over all of the slides. So it's a narrative, almost as if it's a one-to-one, like me talking to you now. And it allows the student to get immersed and engage. And I can bring all of my many years of experience in farming, agriculture, and landed estate health and safety onto the table, so everyone can benefit from that. That's one aspect of the course. Then the other unique part of the course is within the training course itself, chapters 6 or 7, we invite the student into our 3D interactive farm. So again, we've tried to make it different. We wanted to up the game. The student is invited into a 3D farm where they can move around using their computer controls. Literally, it's like being in the farm. You're in amongst the animals, in the workshop, in the farmyard, looking for hazards, going on a hazard spotting exercise. It's pretty cool, if I do say so myself. So that's 12 minutes. So I will zip it for now. I'm going to make more and more of these little chats, brief chats, 10 minutes or so, just about what's going on. And I'm going to start bringing to you some useful guides, some free information about what's going on out there at the moment. And it will relate to farm health and safety, landed estate, agricultural type safety issues. I'll bring you the case studies and the things that have gone wrong that we now know about. And obviously, armed with that information, there might be some action points that you can take away, implement in your business, and prevent you and your staff and your business being affected by similar outcomes. And then on the rural crime side, I'll be keeping a close eye on news feeds relating to crime activity, criminals getting caught, criminals not getting caught, just keep us all up to speed with what's going on out there. So that's me, that's Richard Wade. I hope that's been of interest to you. Reach out to me at any time, but the key message in here is ruralcrimes.com, farmsafetytraining.co.uk. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a fantastic start to the new year. Be safe and take care.